Hey, everybody, welcome to the witching hour, the hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. We've got some nice moving magic for you today. Tonight on the witching hour, we are diving into the alchemy of movement, mindset, and magic with the incredible Mariel Wilk. So, well, Mariel, welcome. I know you were once a regular classroom teacher, and then left that matrix into what you call subconscious reprogramming and dance somatic embodiment guide. It sounds very powerful, but tell us what that is. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Patty. I came from teaching, which is a beautiful experience. And there was a point in time where to be a part of a system that I feel like is really broken, I think was making me feel broken. And I knew that I was not. None of us are broken. I think we hear that language a lot of like, oh, I'm broken. I need to find myself. I don't believe that's true. It's just getting really quiet and coming back home to you. And through that, I knew I was always going to be teaching, but I was ready to hear more of my inner magic and then be able to teach from that space without constrictions, without constraints of a system that, has these rules, regulations. And I believe that we're all here to create our own rules and our own momentum in our life and to live in alignment with who we really are before the world conditions programming told us what to be. And through my journey was in therapies in and out. I felt like it was band-aids and I wanted and asked and prayed for more. I'm like, there has to be better ways to do things. And if we really are this, magic within us, that things can be healed quicker and faster than we can even fathom. And I got to experience that in real time. I've been very blessed in my life to move through turmoil, but make my pain my power. And then now be able to give the permission slip to others that if I can do it, you can do it. And you can step into your full power and move through your fear. And the fear that starts in the mind. So a lot of times people think that it starts with the body, but the way that I think and move through the world is that everything that's going on in my physical reality, in my actual reality itself out there is because of what is going on in my mind and in my deeper mind. Our minds are 0 to 7 years old, and so
Mhm.
trauma and things that happened in our life then are gonna be showing up into our reality, into our physical, until we address them, until we really get real with our stuff. So to shift our stuff, at a deeper level is where your magic and I think your magic and your power lie in that space.
That's beautiful. And I do agree. It starts in our thought, like in our mind. And I know movement is a big part of you. This is all about movement. So what is abundance? I know you use a great plays on words like energy method, abundance.
Yeah.
So is that part of your program, how it works?
Yeah, it's I get these word, like, transmutations in my mind and activations. I love play on words that I'll pick up on a lot of things with that, and because I think there's messages within words of words, and just I love that play in there, and so, abundance and her G, they're both so I bring subconscious programming to dance somatic embodiment. What does that mean? It means that we start in the mind, then we move through body. So, for example, someone could go to a dance class, and maybe you're like, "I wanna build confidence, I wanna just feel better, I wanna move through shame, guilt, people pleasing, yeah, not feeling in my power, things like that. And yes, you can move energy through in your body, and I think that's incredible. But I do think that if there are things that are not being addressed in your deeper mind, it's you're gonna keep coming back and again wanting more, feeling like that there's not enough, or that thing is still glitching in the really it's happening in the mind, right? So at a point in time, I was at dance classes and realizing a lot of women, like I could take on their energy, I'd feel their thoughts, and I'd be like, "What's going on? I'm just here to dance and feel like a free soul and move my body." And I'm like, that's not everyone else's experience here. What's going on here? And started realizing if we don't address that deeper mind, it's going to keep showing up again and again. And I want more for people. And so what I do is we start in the mind and we figure out what's going on down there at that deeper level. And then we get to play and be in your power, play, and presence and move through the body. But I think without addressing the mind first, right? Because then from there, when people watch me dance, I am not the best dancer out there. Some people would say, yes, you are. It's because I'm so free and I'm so in my presence and in my power and in my play, and my mind is not running the internal show that I can dance and feel abundant. To feel abundant, and the word of dance is in abundance for a reason. Because at that point, there's freedom. There's freedom, there's lightness, there's love, there's just energy that easier moves through because there's less open tabs up in the mind that's slowing your system down and making you get all heady and then getting you out of your embodiment of who you really are.
So say, yeah, yeah, I get this. Okay, so let's go back to dance. I was a dancer. I'm a dancer too, and I'm a pretty free dancer myself. But
Mm.
most people are not. If you're at a wedding or at a club or just doing whatever, it's kind of like, I'm not a good dancer. Am I in rhythm? Am I going to look like everybody else? Am I making a fool of myself? So if you start working on all those chatters and things, do you actually consciously notice that all of a sudden they are dancing more free or actually better
Yes,
once you start working from there?
absolutely. You see it so quickly. I mean, even just this work, you see even just people light up more in their facial features, right? Their body, again, because the body's responding to the way the mind is. So again, if you are a computer system and you have tabs that you're closing down, the computer's going to run so much more smoothly. It'll do things faster, more efficiently, more effectively, more in flow, right? So your body, people that I work with, like, they like, oh, I have this stiff arm. So we do the mind, we get in the body, and I mean, they'll come back and be like, oh my gosh, I can move it in ways I haven't been able to move it before. I mean, this stuff is magical. It's really powerful. And so, really, what I want to share is that the mind is so powerful and it just is here for your survival. And so, when this whole thing about, like, oh, I'm very afraid to be judged by people, what really you're afraid of is death because your mind has told you that if I'm judged, I'm going to die. That's really what's happening at that deeper level. Because again, if you imagine a 5-year-old right now and you were to go ask them to dance, right? They wouldn't even go in their thinking mind. They would right away start moving their body and they wouldn't care what it looked like, wouldn't care what they were doing. They'd probably be laughing and having fun and just enjoying themselves. And so, what's the difference of that versus where you are now? And then even take this a step further. If you were in an island right now, think about the Caribbean, you're with the trees and the coconuts and you're on the sand, the beach, and you were by yourself and you had this idea or this came through you to dance, you just would dance. You wouldn't be worried. So what's the difference between each of these scenarios? The one that you're like in the class or around people at a wedding, at an event, is because there's other people there that may witness you. And what would it be like to actually not care at all or be even like that, not even that coming to mind when you are wanting to move your body, like the 5-year-old or like being on an island. And so what's really is, again, we get to that place that it's no longer a threat in your mind. And the question that you ask, of course, you're going to feel more free than in your mind. And then your body's going to also feel more free and open up. So many of us were hunching over, we're holding in our bellies, we're like tightening up, we're holding the weight of our shoulders. But if we shift the narratives going on in the deeper mind, your body's gonna start thanking you and opening up in ways that didn't seem possible before. Because again, we don't even realize how much we're holding on to in our bodies until you realize and you're like, whoa, this level of freedom that I can dance through life so much more with clarity and just momentum is really powerful.
So I love that. So it's kind of like dance is part of your spiritual language, your self-help language. Now, has that always been a part of you, or did that surprise you?
That's such a good question, and I think too, like, right, they say, like, dance music, right, is like a world language for people, right? Because again, you see
Yes.
people coming together dancing, you're coming together and singing, that's why a lot of people come and do that, even in prayer, they're singing, it's like, that's a way we can all speak, even words itself sometimes can get lost in translation, and so, I always say too, I really believe before coming on earth, I was a dancing soul, and I believe that when I leave here, like, I'll just be dancing, I'm like, when I transition everyone, like, I will just be dancing around, like, you don't need to be sad, I will be as happy as can be just like I am now, but I really do believe that this work was something at a whole soul level that I was here to come and show people what's possible, because again, I'm not the best dancer, but people watch me dance and they're like, "You must been trained and and it's like, yes, I've had dancing in my life, but it's been always from soul, and I think that's something that that I'm so passionate about wanting other people to experience that soul level dance, that soul dance, because that's what it's about. Without the conditions and programmings, you're letting your mind dictate how you dance in the world, isn't necessary.
Yeah, I love that. So it is about subconscious programming, and that's what you say. So, and that is a powerful transformation. So how does it work? I guess awareness is one, because like you're right, people don't know. So if somebody's going, okay, I want to do this, what are some things that you tell them to be aware of? I know you work with people, you coach with people, but what are some things in their day to day that they can go, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Even too, I asked the question, I mean, dance is a beautiful tool of kind of awakening something that you can notice as a narrative. What's your relationship with dance? If someone were to ask you right now, would your response be, well, I need to drink, have a few drinks before I did that, or oh, I would never do that, or even the idea, I love this activation where, I will, for example, I will kind of dance and I'll touch my body with my hands and I'll like play with my hair and ask people, what did that bring up in you? And they might go, "Oh, I felt really uncomfortable," or, I felt like, yeah, get it, girl." Or, and again, that's a program going on in your mind. I've been judged by people before. You're dancing too sexy. You need to like cover up more, or like you're trying to get men. And I'm going, that's your narrative that you're playing in your mind. It has nothing to do with me. It's bringing up something for you to notice in yourself. And so that would be a place to start in any area of your life, noticing just how your perspective is about something can be really, really fascinating to kind of notice what are some stucknesses going on for you in your deeper mind, what you're making things mean. So again, we can just start with dance, right? For the person to go, okay, if I were to go to dance class right now, okay, what narratives are popping up in my mind? And going, okay, there's some stuff, that there's some conditions, programs that have been installed there, probably from childhood or from
Mhm.
situation that have allowed me to believe this limiting belief, this thought that is not getting me to the dance class.
I love that. So, do you have any, like, for people, again, I would like to talk about how you work about coaching and stuff, but so do you have any specific rituals or like practices to get people to abundance? Or you also use the word confidence. So much words have dance in them.
I know, I know, I love it. I love it, I love it. Yeah, I really think if I can share anything, to not leave your home is one of the simplest things you can do, to not leave your home with feeling any lack. And that might be sounding ridiculous to some or like, okay, whatever, but really think about that because again, we can't we can't change the past, but there's so many things that we've been taught that there is lack. Again, like I need to be having these things outside of myself to feel okay or to be okay, right? People or things or I mean, again, think about even people that like food addictions and social media addictions, it's instant gratification, right? That like I need to feel okay, so I need to grab these little blankets or pacifiers. Like, I can't be like a kid anymore, right? In that or my little blankie, but there's things that we do in our physical world to grab onto that. So
Yeah.
anytime that we can really work that mind muscle mastery of pausing and going pause with a pleasure to notice a thought coming up, notice a sensation, noticing a situation, a fight, an argument, wanting to grab that chocolate bar and going pause with a pleasure. I'm noticing this thing showing up in me that is really your power. And so before leaving your home any day, I invite you to have a little dance party. And that could be even starting in your mind, right? You can close your eyes and visualize because your mind has no idea what's real and what's not. So you can literally start dancing in your mind and seeing yourself dancing. And from there, you're activating more energy, right? You're getting into a state of well-being and your cells are listening and responding to that as well. And so either play a favorite song, could be from childhood, could be of recent, and move the body a little bit, move some energy, and then be able to go out in the world and just see how you're showing up differently and see how other people are picking up on your energy differently. Because we've had it all wrong about this thing about being selfish. Oh, you're being selfish. If we took more time in this world to be selfish, meaning to align to who we are before we were out into the world would be a better place. They say like there's all these wars happening. It's going, well, the war starts in the mind. What wars? Start with the own wars that are going in your mind. And again, see the reality around you shift and the people and how they relate to you and the situations that are occurring in your life. Because people that I work with, their whole reality starts changing. Because again, the mind's its own movie reel. They say imagination is I imagination. You were tapped and turned on as a kid when you were playing. I mean, you know what I was doing in my room as a kid? I was playing teacher. And then that's what I ended up doing. I literally manifested, right? Being a teacher because I was in my imagination, in my play, in my power, in my presence. And then I stepped into that. So get back into the imagination of yours. Don't be fearful of it and listen to it.
That's beautiful. I say the same thing when a completely different world, teaching people mediumship develop and stuff like that. I do love you are a teacher, and again, if you were a teacher when you were a kid, and you were a regular, whatever that means, teacher for 11 years, like you said. So, what made you step into the entrepreneurial world? Was there a moment that you made the shift, going, "I'm done playing this, and I need to do that," when you saw what was broken? Or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in schools too, I was teaching mindfulness, I was teaching yoga, so, I was doing the mind and movement stuff then, but again, it was very much, like, had to fit a certain box, and I just realized at a point that I am done living in boxes, I am done again, we're taught, like, if have done paint by numbers or, like, color you color it, and it's like, that's great, and there's times and places we do that, but you know what? What would it be like, and even too, if you're listening right now and you're joining us, like, closing your eyes and just imagine that younger version of you just like scribbling over the whole entire page or painting over the whole entire like not following the numbers, not and it's like, it's okay to get messy. And it's actually sometimes really even more fun than following the rules that you were given. And to answer your question, I think I was just kind of done following the rules of what I was given in my life and going like, what would it be like for me to create my own? And to be able to know that my magic's gonna come through even more powerfully when I'm aligning more to me, and that other people are gonna be able to do the same because I'm not here like healing you. I'm here showing you how to heal yourself. And I think that's the power move because if you're relying on, like, example, a therapist once a week, again, that's also a blanket. I don't want you coming to me forever. My biggest celebration is when someone's like, "And I'm done with you." And I'm like, "Yay, go and fly and go and color by numbers your way and paint outside the lines too." And that really is what excited me. If I just prayed one day of show me those that are ready for this magic and then continue to show me mine. Because again, that's what we all came here at a soul level. We came here to create magic. And I mean, again, what you do, right? You're inspiring so many people and having them step into their own magic because you followed that whisper in you. Yeah, you followed not the status quo. You went against the grain and you drew outside the lines. And if we're not doing that, we are literally stunting ourselves from our own magic, our own power. And I think that's something to really look at and going, where am I playing small? I had people starting to tell me you're playing small. And I didn't realize that we are living in the I say the basement of our mind when literally there's a mansion and even bigger than that's here for us. So just notice, like, where am I in the closets? Where am I kind of playing Cinderella versus and Patty, I what I love, I love like the Good Witch. I think about
Mm,
the Wicked, that musical in the movie, and it's a powerful message because really it's those 2 people in our mind, right? It's the good witch, bad witch. I don't even think it's good or bad, wrong or right, but it's
right.
going one is saying, "I'm gonna do this thing," and the other one's going, "Wait, but just, you can make it all okay here and you can stay." And that's the battle, right? That's like the wolves we're feeding or the voices we're feeding. Is are we feeding the ones that's going, "Just stay safe here," or are we feeding the one that's going, "No, you are here for bigger and better things. Go fly the broom," right? And that you're gonna be judged, you're going to be questioned, you're going to be misunderstood, and that's your invitation to get really comfortable in the uncomfortable with that.
I love that. And yes, get that broom and go. I do love your plays on words. I love that you said, I think you said mind muscle mastery. And I know you'll weave mindset, manifestation, and movement together. So what does that mean? Mindset, movement, and manifestation, along with muscle memory. Again, alliterations, plays on words, but
Mhm.
how do we put that into our life?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, even again, just like tapping into a belief, thinking about a belief or thinking about an activation I did recently is if you even tap into like a certain word and you just notice that like where you're triggered is showing you where you're not free. And that's one of the most powerful things to first, simplify it, right? So noticing if what someone says triggers you or a thought that you're having triggers you. So even right now, we could do something with like shame, right? And just kind of noticing right now, like if you say the word shame in your mind, maybe it takes you to a memory or to a moment or just to a thought or a feeling or a sensation in the body maybe. And again, you get to follow it, right? So right now we're opening this up into the mind. And now we're also seeing it. Where does it move? Does it stay in the mind? Does it go to the throat? A lot of people hold things like in their throat, they'll feel, or in their stomach, like in their gut. And just noticing that. And then again, is there going to be movie reels happening for you that you're feeling that thing? Or again, just a sensation as a visual that's coming up. And again, we get to move through that and tap into, okay, what it's showing us, yay, momentum. Movement creates momentum. So right now we're doing movement in the mind, or maybe something you're having some movement in the body. And again, if I was working with someone individually, we would see what's tapping on, turning on then to be seeing. And then we would play with that. We would dance with that in the mind. We would shift the stuff in the mind with that at a deeper level and pull the root out of we're not cutting the weed at top where it's still going to be there. We're actually pulling the root out. And then we're gonna see how that's moving through the body. And people, again, will breathe bigger, right? They'll see the
Yeah.
expansion. They'll feel that energy moving. Oh, it's in my belly, but now it's either moving somewhere else or it's even gone. Like by the end of the time, like these things are just moved through. And so, yeah, Patty, it's through mind, through body, through it. It's really through this thing bigger than us that gets to open and release. I always say it's like we're awakening and we're releasing.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. I love that. I love how you word it. So similar to all my belief system. So speaking of the mind and body, let's go a little deeper. Do you think that our minds, our bodies hold like ancestral or karmic energy that we deal with as well as we know our childhood, we know our upbringing, we know society and all that? Do you think it goes deeper than that as well?
I think we're just touching on the tip of the iceberg of what it all is, but I think to say that like, no, that is, is kind of I think we see it. I always say too, I think there's also a time, which is why I love the work that I do, is like, let's move through that stuff so you can go live your life. Because I don't want someone to be at a session every week going, let me continue to unravel my trauma and past generational stuff. And it's like, again, you're not focusing on the magic that you're here to do. So I think it's, again, I think it's a dance. It's a dance to remove these things fast, efficient, and effectively so that you can step into who you really are. Because yeah, that stuff is not you, right? It's like past lives, it's just things from family. But I always say that, it's like being in a car accident and there's all the car pileup afterward. And imagine getting out of a car and being like, I want to figure out who started this all. Like, so I'm going to go to each car and keep going and walking back to each car to see which one started it. You can take your time and do that, or you can say, hey, is everyone safe and good? Let's get back into our cars. Let's go to the repair shop. Let's get back into realignment. And then let's keep driving and go on our road trip to, Malibu or wherever we're headed. It's like, I mean, again, you choose your own adventure of what you wanna do. There's no wrong and right of that. But I think even in your own family systems, I think it hold a lot of different stuff in the mind and body. Even just get to, again, the wars in the mind, notice where the family dynamics are and really work through your own mind of how you're relating to people in that family dynamic and the boundaries in that, and the stories, narratives of their thoughts that are showing up in your world and your reality that aren't yours. Most of your thoughts, if not all of them, are not even yours. There's some mystic understandings that none of our thoughts are actually useful. Think about when you're really tapped and turned on and you're speaking, it's like you feel like something's actually speaking through you. It's not even you. More of that would occur if we can, again, delete these tabs going on. And so realizing that the people in your life are just showing you where you're stuck and continue to get to invite you through that is really powerful. And that I believe that we chose our families, we chose our parents, we chose our siblings, we chose to help us awaken these things are the generational, if it was traumas, right? Past life stuff. And so it's really a thank you so much. Like, pause, what a pleasure that you're bringing this stuff up in me because they really are here to ignite that light in you. I think at a soul level, we are light and love, and we're just working to return back to that. And so I always say, find what makes sense to you to return back to that. For me, the deeper mind mastery and the dance somatic embodiment has brought me home to who I am. That may not be for everybody. And so it's going, find those things, listen to that. I say the winner wisp her. Has the word her in it. That's kind of cool. So I think a lot of women are very intuitive. I think all women are actually intuitives. It's just going,
I
do
do
you
too.
listen enough? Right? It's we're not, me and you are not special. We just have taken the time to really listen and be able to, again, share that from that space. And so I just think if you start thanking the people in your life, thank you for showing me these things, your whole life also can transform because, again, it's you are the driver of your own car, right? You're the director of your own movie. You are the controller of your video game. So take that responsibility for yourself and don't put it on other people. Don't put your junk on other people's own it. Own it and respond to it in a way that you would want that higher version of you to respond to it with.
Right. Because that way, if you own it, you're not a victim. You take responsibility. As soon as you take responsibility, then you can change it. If you're just a victim to your parents and a victim to life and victim to what's
Yes.
going on in the world, I love that. I'm dancing in my head, by the way. I'm going to be dancing through the heavens with you for forever and ever.
Yes.
And now to me, I'm dancing by myself, dancing in couple. That is me. To me, dance is pleasure and joy and embodies play itself. Do you think that in itself helps your enlightenment or spiritual growth?
Well, think about it. When you're either if you're singing or dancing or even anything that you have done as a child, think about it too, because you were much more present then than you are now, right? So it's really getting into your creativity. My flow happens when I dance because again, I'm getting out of my head. That was a way for me, even as a child, I didn't realize then was actually a way for me to get out of my head. It was a way for me to work through some traumatic things going on. And I don't, you don't appreciate it then, but it's going, so yeah, my soul kept nudging me to go back to it again because there was a point that I left dancing for a very long time, and I was very in my masculine, I was very serious, I was very, just kind of living in that trauma, like, survival state, and I wanted to get back into my magic, and dance is what pulled me back in, and that's when, again, when I was doing the subconscious programming work, I was like, "Wait, this is all fun dance in here, but what would happen if we actually then moved it in dance in the body?" And it's like, a win-win, a full on thing. It's like you can go get your hair done at the salon, and you can go get your hair done, your toes done, your full body massage. Like, why not? Like, again, that's the abundance. Like, why not all of it? And so I think that's something for me that definitely, Patty, it allows me to be in my flow and get out of my head, because we forget we are a soul living in a human experience. And so we're going to have those moments. We watch people like, oh, they have it all figured out. No one has it figured out, but they're finding things along the way that remind them of who they are. And I have found that for me. And I just invite and guide people to get home to who they are and what that means. That could be something completely different, like painting again, or anything, crafting, cooking, like things that, you kind of like, oh, there's not time for that. That's a big stuck for me. Like, I don't have time for that. You will make time for things that are important to you. And once you start doing it, you realize that actually things are happening more fluidly in your life, and you'll make it actually even more a priority to do it. And that's why for me, I don't go a day without even just a moment of dancing in my mind or my body, because I know that it reminds me who I am.
I'm adding that to my and I agree with you, and I tell people they have to do something from that creative right brain world, not just that. Even if the world gets an hour less of them a day, the 23 hours they do get are gonna be that much more fulfilled, that much more full. Now one thing, we know the world's crazy right now, we're not gonna go there, but a lot of people, because, just we've gone through COVID and this and all, a lot of people are, like, really burnout right now, really, they are experiencing just plain old burnout. Is this something that can help with that as well? Just, maybe
And that's
after trauma or just there's trauma everywhere these days.
Yeah, I'm like, if you survived this life without, any trauma, like, I wanna meet you and applaud you, So, like, we think we're alone in this, and people will come to me like, "Oh, I feel like you're gonna judge me because, like, I'm gonna tell you a thought that I have or this thing that happened in my life." And I'm like, "I have 0 judgment in my world anymore because, again, of the work that I've done too, and, like, I've heard it all." And so absolutely, burnout, again, that's such a word I used word, just even like people pleasing. Like it's this word that we use, but like deeper mind doesn't understand what you mean by that. So for me, I would go, what's really, if you were to tell a 5-year-old, I'm burnt out, right? You tell a 5-year-old, I'm burned out. They'd be like, you're hot? You burned your hand on the stove, like they wouldn't get it. So
Yeah.
we want to talk to the mind in that way, or what does that really mean? And I think a lot of that burnout is I'm not aligned to what I'm actually feeling lit up by. Because we know that when we're lit up by something that we don't feel that burnout. We have moments that we need to like pause and go rest or get some sleep. Like that's different than this burnout. What this burnout is going, think about like your candle wick is like done. It's like because it's not in alignment. It's not working for you. And it's just easier to be like, I'm burnt out and tired versus there's things to shift in my life. Right. One of them's a little bit scarier and more uncomfortable than just saying, I'm burnt out and so is the world. I'll just
Right.
keep doing it.
It comes an excuse. I love that.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
okay, before we go, if someone is listening today or watching today and is feeling stuck or self-doubt or just afraid to be seen, is there one little small movement or mindset shift that they can make today to just start changing that?
Yes, yes. I mean, I would just honestly think about because I love to individualize best I can. So let me activate something. Just thinking about somewhere in the body right now that you notice there's discomfort maybe often. Again, maybe that's like the chest, the throat, the belly, the shoulders and neck, the hips. And I would say start moving that body part and make it fun and playful, right? Do more things to be in your play. So even to schedule a time this week that you're going to intentionally put it like you would a doctor's appointment or any other kind of appointment, right? That you are going to make time for play. So maybe it's dance, maybe it's, I used to play with Barbie dolls as I was a kid, and you just go buy a Barbie doll and you go play with it. Like you make it, the more ridiculous you can make it, I think is the better. And so it doesn't have to be dance again, but one thing that you're gonna do to step into your play and not make the excuse, "I don't have time for it, it's not gonna benefit me." It's actually, what if you knew it would 10 times benefit an area of your life you're wanting to see increase, doing that one thing for 5 minutes? Would you then actually make the time for it? And so with that, again, going back to some body part, right now, just take a big deep breath into that space. Intend there's gonna be energy shifting through that area and exhale, release. And then even in the mind right now, seeing you dancing in a way that is moving energy through in that space. So if it's your belly, you're like taking big, deep breaths. Maybe you're even doing little pumps with your chest. I mean, if people are only listening, like just like doing little, movements with that. Or if it's your neck, you're shaking your head like left and right. If it's your hips, like you're moving them side to side, just getting like you were a 5-year-old again, right? And you're just moving your body. And then just check in afterward. How do I feel? Right, again, going back to actually I said earlier, before you leave your home, the next day, whenever you're hearing this, the next day, set a reminder on your phone, "Before I leave today, I'm going to move my body. I'm going to shake and shift, right? That part of the body, and then step into this version of me that is abundant, not lack, but I'm already whole and I'm already complete and I'm already full of life, full of great. They say grateful and full of great. What would it be like for you to move through the world today being full of great and making that time for play today? So I really want you going, what was a play as a kid? What did I do to play? And then making 5 minutes of that time today.
Okay, you guys, you are challenged. Everybody out there, you are challenged. At 5 minutes, start with 5 minutes.
Yes.
Dance, play. I'm a Barbie girl, so that was an easy one.
Yes.
And I'm
I'm a Barbie girl in a
in a Barbie world. I know. So anyway, you are amazing. So I'm sure everybody watching and listening thinks so too. So tell us anything you have coming up or where people can find you online and as working with you and coaching. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I offer so many different things. I like to meet people where they're at. I love doing individual one-on-one work so we can, shift your stuff very quickly. But also too, I have a secret podcast that does subconscious programming and dance somatic embodiment. So it's like plug and play at your own time. That's called Energy. It's really powerful. But also too, I have different containers and activations that I will lead, my abundance classes and sessions. So just reach out. I always invite people. I love this invitation that to message me on Instagram. I love voice notes. I think they're incredible, and I think it's a deeper way of connecting. But you can just message me, and again, it's gonna notice like what's going on in the mind. Like, oh no, I don't want to take up space. I don't want to take up her time. I don't want to. But I'm giving the invitation right now. Message me on Instagram, mindfulness with Mariel. And I want you to tell me what was that thing you did at 5 years old or as a kid that you were doing in play. And I want to hear about, that you're gonna and think about it. It's like an extra accountability. I'm going to play Barbie dolls for 5 minutes on Friday. I wanna hear from you so that I can intend and celebrate with you, and, that's gonna be an invitation I'm gonna give you because movement creates momentum. That is why dance is one of the greatest ways, right? It's activating that play, but it's also getting I don't feel like sending that email. Dance for a few minutes, and then you probably will feel a little better about sending that email. And so this invitation for you, send me a message that's going to create momentum in your life for the next thing for you to do, and watch the reality in your mind to the reality in your world expand. That's what I'm here to help people awaken to.
that is beautiful. And they can get to like your podcast and everything from your Instagram.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And then shoot me a message, any questions you have, even just for a conversation of what you're moving through. And like, let's intend together and let's, again, step into the power of you. Stop playing small. Like you said, stop playing victim. You are the main character of your movie. So let's start acting like it.
Thank you so much. I love every single thing that you said that I got to speak. So thank you, Marielle. Thank you for truly bringing some moving magic to the witching hour and some fun wordplay as well. So you guys like her, follow her, dance.
Yes. Your abundance in human form. Let's go.
Thank
Thanks so much, Patty.